Now. Yo, guys, what's going on? LuckyRave is back again to give you guys another Fairy Tale 100 Years Quest live stream discussion slash review. And this time we're going to be talking about Chapter 164, which, for those of you that weren't aware, and I've kind of been saying this for a couple weeks, but when it came to this chapter and its release date, I knew I wasn't going to be able to cover the chapter the day it came out because, well, I was out of town last Sunday and I didn't make it back until Saturday. So, like Saturday night. And plus, you know how it is. When you go out of town for a bit and then you come back, you kind of need a little bit of time to, like, just like rejuvenate for a bit. So, I'll let Sunday be my rest day. Yesterday, obviously, I tackled episodes 3 and 4 for a live stream discussion, which was a lot of fun. Had a lot of fun doing that. And honestly, when I really think about it, it's kind of a blessing that I'm doing this stream right now as opposed to last week, because considering that the next chapter, 165, drops next Tuesday, it kind of helps me out a little bit because usually we'd have to wait 2 weeks. But in the case of, like, where we stand right now with the stream, it's gonna wait another week. Which let's dive right into it, because I know a lot of y'all are just like waiting to hear my thoughts on how I feel about chapter 164, especially like coming off from 163. So let's dive right into it. Right into this. The chapter title, by the way, I love the title. Three-way battle over the world. Like, that is like, ooh, not gonna lie. When you hear a title like Three-Way Battle Over the World, like, that just hits. Okay? And I mean, usually I don't like to make a lot of, like, like IRL references when it comes to like anime and manga, because, like, anime and manga for the most part, it's supposed to be like a way of like escapism, right? To just like suck you into the world and whatnot. But in this case, hearing the title Three-Way Battle Over the World, it kind of gets me reminded of something you learn in like school about like the shot heard around the world. It's like not like in a huge ordeal like of like what happened, but like just that title got me thinking back to the shot heard around the world. I was like, whoa, that's interesting. But that being said, let's go ahead and talk about this. So we got the chapter title, got this beautiful cover page of Fairis, okay? Beautiful cover page, which I'm assuming this is Edless Fairis. No, not Edless. Elentier. I was like, pretty sure this is Elentier Fairis, because if we saw Edless Fairis, which we got a little bit of a reference to what Edless Fairis was like in the previous chapter, with her just basically being, traditional girl. But it's a cute peg. I'll give it that. That being said, let's be real. Let's be totally real here. The whole thing Ignia set up in the last chapter, making that decree to Natsu, yo, you didn't fight the 5 dragons for real, okay? Like, Mercphobia, Celine, well, Dogramag was one thing, but, Alderon and Viernus? All those cats you fought? No, 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 no. You only fought them at their lowest strength. Or because like they were just like, yeah, let's just not do this, essentially. And yo, Dragon Force, what's up? Yeah, this chapter was crazy. And I'm about to just dive right into that right now. But with the last chapter, obviously, we ended with the transformation of, Suijit, Mercphobia, just going back into his, like, dragon form. And Celine trying to, like, just suppress what was happening. And this chapter, whoo, okay, let's be 100%. I've been saying that too much. I'm going to stop. We see Alchemist Guild Gold Owl, okay? And I know a lot of folks, not me necessarily, a lot of folks, like, peeved at the Gold Owl arc. Specifically with Viernus. And I will say this, when it came to Viernus, at the tail end of the Gold Owl arc, I was like, I did think for a moment that was kind of quick. Like I would have assumed Viernus would have taken a bit, and then when we come to find out at the end of the last chapter, I was like, no, they only got lucky because they weren't even at full strength. And right now, right now, vice versa. You see, like the gold element that's there, and Viernus returns, and like I said, this ain't Viernus like half strength or like barely any strength whatsoever. This is him full strength, which oh my god. Likewise, we go back to Drazel, okay, the ruins of Drazel, and you see like a seed, a root sprouting out, and obviously the boy himself, okay, Alderaan has returned, and you see like everyone's shocked, like, oh hell to the no. Same thing, again, we got this tease at the end of the last chapter, but the city of Armina, you see phobia. Caramel's like in total shock, kind of worried, like, oh no. And I mean, like, look at this. Even this dude right over here, Mr. No Way, he's there too. And Caramel's like, what is this power? It's so far beyond even when we fought Fairy Tail or even the five dragon gods. There's no comparison. Then you cut the Diablos. Okay, and Selena's officially like reformed into her dragon mode. Okay, that's where she is. And you see the other members. Okay, Scullion's there. I forget the boy's name, but he's the one that's like heavy simping for Wendy. I'll just say that he's like heavy simping on Wendy. It's like, what's wrong, Master? And then you got Suzaku. Suzaku's always been kind of cool to me. Incomprehensible. You're even larger than when I fought you, when you fought me. We're a bunch of dragon slayers. Can't we not do anything? This is a dragon god's power. Then you see Mr. Chawman Mad Mole over here. Everyone, look outside. And then, of course, I catches Kira's attention. Like, wait, what's that giant lacrima? Then we cut over to the Fire God's palace. And I've been saying this, and I know a lot of other people have been saying this too, but Ignia is carrying 100 Years Quest, okay? Very much like how Zareth, for the most part, carried the original Fairy Tail, in my opinion. A lot of people want to say Acnologia carried the series too, but I would more so say Zareth carried the original manga. Ignia is just that guy, okay? Okay. But let's see what he has to say. Dogramag spent centuries spreading roots all over the continent. The great labyrinth of Dogramag. Okay, not Dogramag. Dogra. Natsu sweated. Even Fairis is like, what the hell? It can activate the dragon gods and turn humans into dragons. And Natsu's like, wait, turn humans into dragons? And then you kind of get the sense of what Ignia's plan is once he says this. I'm going to create a dragon nation. Just like 400 years ago. A world where dragons soar through the skies. And when you really take that into perspective and consider Ignia's like upbringing, at least from what we know of it, in his age, obviously there were dragons around, right? And Acnologia like slaughtered almost all of them, including his pops Igneel. But that still brings up the point, though. When you look at what Ignia's plan is, to recreate a world where dragons soar through the skies, on paper, that plan's not a bad idea. Okay? Like, actually, when you think about it, you would kind of imagine, all right, it's kind of a noble cause with what he's trying to do. But the way Ignia's going about it, that's a different story altogether. His approach on the matter is much, much different. If I'm being perfectly real here, you know. Let's see here. And then Ferris just finds this amusing. She's like, "Huh, interesting. In that case, I'll destroy both humans and dragons." That is the will of my left arm, Acnologia, and you could tell, like just from the shading of that panel where you see Ferris, like just from like the way her eyes are drawn, like the shading underneath it. Not only that, but just the way she's talking too, as very Acnologia like. And plus, the next panel where they just shows it with the left arm. That is the will of my left arm of Acnologia. Natsu doesn't say anything for just one panel, and then the next following panel he says this. Something I'd expect from him, by the way. Then I'll fight for humanity. And he gets so pumped. Okay, he's like, I'll take both of you down. Ignia and Black Magic Ferris. Come at me. I'm all fired up. And as soon as he said this, not gonna lie, I thought to myself, we're about to have this down right now. Like Ignia and Ferris and Natsu, like this fight is we're letting this happen like right here, right now. I mean, you know what? If that's the case, look, I'm all for it. Whatever Hero's plan is, I was like, yeah, sure. Let's have the fight happen now. And then these expressions, okay? I talked about this yesterday in the episode streams, but look, these expressions with Lucy, Gray, Wendy, and Urza, that's been present since the first episode. That was during episode 2 and 3. And like I said, I don't think it's in episode 4, but I just find this expression just amusing because they're there. You see Natsu like just in the vicinity. So you kind of get us feeling of like, all right, so he was teleported. Having Carl there too, by the way. And even he's kind of confused, like, wait, what? Lucy, don't play dumb. And then, of course, Gray, you made us worry. And Wendy just making it obvious, like, yeah, this is Magia Dragon. Elfsyria used his magic to bring you back here. And of course, Elfsyria is there. Likewise with Athena, which, given that Avernus is running amok, I do hope Athena plays a part. And, like, actually having, like, a combat role. That would be great. But you see Elfsyria here, who I know the community has been kind of theorizing. Could he be a possible other dragon god? Perhaps the Sun Dragon God? Possible? I have no idea, but who knows? I might make a video on that in the future. We'll have to see. Sorry, something big happened. And then Athena says, it was an emergency, so we teleported you here. And Natsu, very, I wouldn't even say casually, but he was like, yeah, something big happened with me too. And Happy's like, what happened, Natsu? Let's exchange information. And then from there, we cut over to the Fire and Flame members. They're there. He vanished. Elfsyria's power. And of course, Ferris smirking. Game on, Fire Dragon God. Will your Dragon World win? Or will it be my Black Magic World? Or will the humans win? And this shot right over here, where she's like just like fading away, beautiful. I love that panel shot right there. That looks stunning. Which I hope when this part does get to the anime, I hope they do this scene justice. I really, really do. But you see Ignia, see the other members. She up and vanished too. She'll get in our way. That won't be a problem. We'll create our dragon world anyway. And actually, you know what? Since we're on the topic of the Fire and Flame members, like I know the cover for Volume 18 came out, which I gotta say, I love the cover for Volume 18. But let me go ahead and pull this up. Because aside from the Signario sisters, let me see. We got Ignia. I need to remember the names. Just because. Okay, so there's Wed, There's Lekka, Brian, Raj, and of course Misfortune. But essentially, we got the boys and the girls, keeping it like that. She up and vanished. Actually, hold on. Let me go and pull the names up real quick, just to get this and keep it in perspective. So, the one currently talking right now is Lekka. Lekka's the one talking. He says she up and vanished too. She'll get in her way. And that one's Brian. Brian's the one that's saying that part. That won't be a problem. We'll create our dragon world anyway. And Ignia, the man himself, says, you'll all become dragons too. You're prepared. Dude, this is nuts. He says, you're prepared to cast aside your humanity, aren't you? And then you see everyone's reaction. You see Luso's reaction. You see Eddie's reaction. Brian's reaction. Lekka's reaction. It's, dude, the fact that we're going that far. Whoo! Oh my god. I don't know if I'm ready for this. I'm being for real here. Because, again, Hero stated this was going to be a serious arc. Last time we had something serious was freaking Tartaros. And I can't believe I'm going to say this. So far, this has potential to supersede that. Okay? It has potential. I'm not going to say it's 100% going to supersede Tartarus, but that potential is there. Okay? 100%. But we cut over to Fairis, and she's saying a banquet for dragons, humans, and a black wizard. The true Dragon King Festival is beginning. Come out. And this next shot. Okay, I'll be real. This double page spread that we got, I really debated on using this as a thumbnail. Okay, I was like, this shot looks so epic. But then I kind of thought the chapter title is called Three-Way Battle Over the World, and I wanted to pick a thumbnail where I wanted to pick a panel shot where it encompasses, Natsu, Fairis, and Ignia all together, which is why I stuck with the I'll Fight for Humanity panel, as opposed to this one, because, oh my god. This right here, Demons of the Book of Fairis. You've got the Aurasian sex, okay? I think that's how you say it. I think it's German for sex. But I found it so funny. And of course, hold up. I always do this. I have Discord open and then it just likes to go off every once in a while. So I gotta keep that. Off whenever I'm doing these streams. But you've got the Aurasian 6, okay? And these cats, woo! I'm gonna say this right now. They look epic as all hell. Alright? And I wouldn't be surprised, actually, if these characters are used to take on, some of the dragon gods. I would not be surprised whatsoever. Plus, not gonna lie, the chick with the horns, ooh, she a cutie. I'll say that. And actually, I'll take it a step further. Maybe some of, the members of Fairy Tail could take them on, too. If I have to take a bet on who was gonna fight who, I could see Lucy taking on the chick with the horns and the big buff dude. I mean, I don't know. Him, I'm a little unsure. Maybe Natsu. I think maybe Natsu could take him on. And then, the dude with the suit. That to me kind of screams great. That's a great fight right there. And then the one with the snake. Probably Wendy. And the dude with the feathers. Probably being Urza. Probably. Well, who knows? I could be entirely wrong here as to who's fighting who, but this is interesting. This is honestly really, really, really interesting to see this. And I'm curious to know their names too, because we only know that they're the Oration on sex. We don't know what each of these names are for the characters. And I mean, to be fair, they are very actually. Now that I look at the one with the snake, it's kind of similar to what Cobra had initially, but and the dude in the center too, with his arms folded, very much got the Zero vibes easily. But we'll see. We will see what they have to offer because I am like super peaked about each of them. Moving forward though, got the last page with Ferris saying who will win: the humans, which obviously represents Natsu, the dragons representing Ignia, and then or the Black Wizard, obviously Ferris's Verner herself. And that's the cliffhanger, okay? That's the cliffhanger for this chapter. And I'm not even gonna beat around the bush. I'm gonna just say it right here, right now. Amazing plus. It's an amazing plus chapter of Fairy Tail 100 Years Quest. I'm so curious with what we're gonna do. Um, with the direction that we're going in for 100 Years Quest, and consider this: the 5 dragon gods are at full strength. This ain't no, we're only like half strength, like, they're being sealed. No, that's not the case here. Now, they're at 100% strength, okay? And Viernus, I know a lot of people, myself included, weren't exactly super thrilled about the Viernus fight. So Viernus has a bit of redemption here. And I'm so curious on how those fights are going to go down, okay? And I highly doubt this is going to be a case where, like, just Natsu, Lucy, Gray, Wendy, and Urza. I highly doubt it's just going to be all, the 5 of them taking on the Dragon Gods at 100% and just soloing them. I don't see that happening whatsoever. If anything, keep it in mind with what happened with Acnologia. Because remember, the misconception with the whole Acnologia fight was, well, Natsu took him out. Not necessarily. Natsu took out Acnologia with the final blow. Yes. But keep in mind, it took the efforts of 7 Dragon Slayers to take down Acnologia. And with the strength of the 5 Dragon Gods at 100%, what I see happening with that, you're going to get, like, the other members involved. Okay, I do believe you're going to get, like, Sabretooth involved again. Definitely Sabretooth. Blue Pegasus? Yeah, I can see them getting involved too. Who else? Mermaid Heel? Only person I can think of for that is like Kagura, but even then, who else am I missing? Let's see, we got Fairy Tail, got Blue Pegasus, got Sabretooth, Mermaid Heel. Oh yeah, Quattro Cerberus. I always seem to forget about them. But what? Okay, realistically speaking, is really anybody thinking Quattro Service is going to have like some contributions to the 5 dragon gods? Let's be real. I don't see that, but it is what it is. But I do see this as like a stance of getting the other guild involved too, 100%. Jalal especially, him. And I mean, you know what? Thinking about the whole Viernus thing, that is where we had Sabretooth's involvement, right? So, yeah. Sting and Rogue, Cobra. Who else do we got? Loxus, Gajiel. And I mean, look, I know people, look, and I've heard the complaints about Gray. Gray hasn't really had a lot of huge spotlight, I would say, since. I mean, Green Labyrinth Arc was one thing, but I would say Gray hasn't really had like a huge moment in 100 Years Quest since. What, probably Alderaan? Am I getting that right? Like, since Alderaan? I mean, he did have that, like, one, like, fight against one of like Celine's foes back in the Moondragon God arc. But like it's been forever. And Gray needs like some serious like shun. Okay. Like for Gray especially, I'm expecting some top tier shit. Like him fight okay, against Silver is like probably his highest bar in the series. Do we see something like that happening for Gray? I mean, that's the expectation, right? You want to see Gray have a fight that's just on par with that. Natsu's pretty easy, I would say, because of course the big buildup is him and Ignia. I do see that being the final fight of the entire 100 Years Quest story. I don't see the story ending without Natsu versus Ignia. And granted, the argument could be made, well, that was the same case as the original fairy tale manga. Many people assumed, well, Natsu and Zeref has to be the final fight, right? And technically speaking, yeah, in a sense, that was what a lot of people thought, myself included. But keep it in mind, many people also assumed when it came to the Natsu and Zeref fight that it would lead to the two brothers teaming up to take on Acnologia. Obviously, that's not what happened, but if I have to take a guess on this, I think this will be a reverse. I do see Natsu taking on Fairis. Whether or not like he's teamed up with someone, whether or not like Igneel like for one moment in the story actually like works together with Natsu to take on Fairis just because, you know, the left arm of Acnologia, the one person in the whole series that killed Igneel, who not only raised Natsu, but which again, Acnologia was already a big deal for Natsu to begin with, but considering that you had Ignia, okay, he had to flee with his mom. He never got a chance to ignore, he never got a chance to like know, you know, Igneel personally. And granted, and he's also stated this too throughout the whole story of 100 Years Quest so far, is that who Igneel was, that does not mean shit to me. Like, I'm who I am. Who Igneel was is who Igneel is. Case in point. Now, the fact that Ferris also brought up in the previous chapter that when it comes to Acnologia, you're afraid. Like, the name Acnologia draws fear into Ignia. And I think there is a chance where Ignia will swallow his pride and say, okay, you know what? Natsu, I hate to do this. Maybe we can work together. What are the chances of that happening, though? If I have to, if I were a betting person, okay, like let's say this was like a game of blackjack, and you had to bet, I would bet probably, my opinion, 40% chance you actually have Natsu and Ignia teaming up to take on Ferris. Or there's the other option 50% chance you don't have a team up with Natsu and Ignia taking on Ferris. Actually, wait, hold on. Let me change that percentage. 45% chance you do have the team up, and 55% chance you don't have the team up. That's where my stance is on that. But, like I said, guys, overall, I would say for certain, this is an amazing plus chapter, without a shadow of a doubt. And I want to take some time to, like, actually talk with you guys in the chat, because I'm noticing, like, you guys are just talking. So, let's see what Dragon Force had to say. Furious Redemption arc. He is at full power this time. Exactly, he is. Alderaan is the biggest problem. Now he is even stronger. I know. Thinking about Alderaan, okay? And so far, I would say Alderaan is probably been the best arc in 100 Years Quest so far. At least to me. I will say that's been the best arc. And then the Great Labyrinth being probably a close second. 100%. But yeah, I'm curious how they're going to deal with Alderaan. because he was already a problem already in the Wood Dragon God arc, but considering the situation and where everything is right now, I mean, it's crazy. Let's see. Hope Mashima doesn't rush this arc this time. It feels like the real 100 Years quest has just begun. Yeah, I mean, you have to keep in mind about this. Hero may be the one writing the story, but we have to also keep in mind he's not drawing the story this time. This is not a situation like like with Rave Master, the original fairy tale manga, Eden Zero, and especially right now with Dead Rock. He's not writing and drawing the story simultaneously. This one, it's him and Ueda teaming up together with again Hero behind the pen and Ueda behind the art, which I have to give a shout out to Ueda because the art top tier as always, looking even better too with each chapter. Love to hear. And Daniel, what's up? I've just noticed your comment too. Hot take: all around size is his biggest disadvantage for him. Anyone worth their salt can defeat his avatar, and his dragon body is pretty much useless. That's fair. Good point there. Is Alder even bigger now? I will say 50-50 on whether or not his size is like the same or if like he's actually like grown. It really depends. We just gotta wait and see. Imagine if we get dragon god. Oh, dude, that'd be cool. Imagine if we get demon gods to fight dragon gods. That's an interesting concept. I'm not gonna lie, that is a super interesting concept. You brought up the Dragon Force. I wonder, Hero, you got some work to do, okay? We have dragon gods, and we know demons exist, okay? Demons from the books of Zeref. Now we have demons from the books of Fairis. I don't think it's too much of a stretch to have like demon gods in fairy tale. I really don't. In fact, that'd be actually really cool to see. Love to hear. Mashima's making up for the final season. Oh, 100%. And I mean, you got to take this into account too. When it came to Alvarez, Hero, I think you could tell was getting really burnt out of doing the manga for Fairy Tail. I think you could tell. Like Tartaros, I would say was like the last peak of the original manga. Avatar, I didn't hate. It was okay for the most part, but like when you consider everything that was with Alvarez, and I've always argued this, up until Universe 1, Alvarez was like a pretty decent arc. But as soon as I recasted Universe 1, that's when I kind of noticed, okay, things are looking like super weird with this final arc. But yeah, he's definitely making up for the final arc of the original manga. Do you think Ignia is actually scared of Acnologia? I mean, there's a lot of ways you can take the word scared. I would definitely say because he had to flee with his mom when that whole situation happened. I mean, granted, that's just a thing with the dragon lore now with Fairy Tail, right? Usually, when the child is born, the mom takes him away. But you have to think, Ignia. We've only seen Ignia as he is right now, and my belief is that what we've seen from Ignia is just how we want to see him, right? I think there is something to Ignia that he's kind of keeping to himself, and we don't necessarily know, like, the real person of who Ignia is. Okay, think about it like this: there's always a persona, right? And my theory on Ignia is we're only seeing what we're seeing. Who Ignia truly is deep down inside, I don't even think we've scratched the surface on that. Okay? We've gotten little glimpses of it, especially with Ferris pointing out, oh, you're actually scared of Acnologia. That says a lot. Given his facial expressions, the fact that we don't see anything from his eyes, the fact that it's like shaded out, says so much. And considering that this is his arc, I'm curious. So curious. But him being scared of Acnologia, I think that possibility is there for sure. And Daniel, let me see what you have to say. So, Mercphobia and Selene need to side with Natsu, right? Because if all 5 dragon gods are on Ignia's side, then we all need pretty much any character that are on panel, and I'm not even kidding. Exactly. Actually, you bring up a good point with Mercphobia and with Selene. What they God, now that actually got me thinking. Holy shit. Um, if anything, I'll say this. I don't see Mercphobia and Selene being in the position that they are in right now to last forever. I don't see that happening for like the remainder of the story. I can definitely see them being where they are right now as like an initial stage, but definitely like after Mercphobia and Selene are dealt with, I can see a situation where they do team up. That I do see. So you've got something going right there. But like you said, also, I do believe we're going to get other characters involved to take on the 5 dragon gods. 100%. Let's see here. Still thought with how much nerve Mercphobia got, I'm surprised he never questioned why his power, you know, diminished so much. Yeah, that's true. Dragon gods are revived, but Fairis didn't transform. Isn't Acno higher than dragon god level? She's got the arm. Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see. I hope Mashima will at least draw fifth, uh, fifth gen Dragon Slayer, Dragon Force. Dude, that would be sick. No lie, okay, that would be so sick to see. And also, one thing I want to say, and I mentioned this weeks ago, we are gonna get the return of END now more than ever. Okay, listen, Ignia, the true son of Igneel, Fairis who carries on the will of Acnologia, and then you have Natsu Dragon, raised by Igneel, the brother of the former Black Wizard. Okay, his older brother, Zeref Dragneel. Okay, the former Black Wizard. And what did Zeref do? He brought his brother back to life as a demon, as the strongest demon in the books of Zeref. Ethereus Natsu Dragon. And with Hero stating this was going to be a serious arc, I think the chances of END coming back have like risen exponentially. Like if before it was say at a 60% when we had the Water Dragon God arc, I'm saying right now we're like at a straight shot 90%. There's a 90% chance I think we're going to get END. And it's not going to be I don't think it's going to be a case where like you have END and like it's like Natsu in like full control. I don't see that happening whatsoever because you guys remember when it came to END in the final arc, and that's the other thing that annoyed me too about Alvarez is that like you had all the buildup for END, but the payoff for it wasn't like that great, you know? And you barely got a glimpse of like what END could actually do with this arc, with the huge potential return of END. I think it could say so much. And I do see this being a case where Lucy steps up, without a shadow of a doubt. Because you have to keep in mind, Lucy never got to see Natsu in his END state. Okay? Gray did, but and the one thing I will say, I don't even think Gray saw the true state of END. I think what he saw was just an ounce of what that was. You know? 100%. Well, let me see what you got to say. Yeah, the power scaling got fucked up in Alvarez. If the Spriggan 12 have more than one brain cell, They will steamroll the entire Fiore in 1 week at most. Yeah, you're right about that. Well, let me see what Dragon Force has to say. If END happens, I'm gonna lose my mind. Oh, dude, expect it. Okay, I'm gonna just say it right now. Expect END because as where Natsu is right now, mm, I'm gonna say this right now. He's not even close. If the Dragon Gods are at 100%, you need END, and there's just no way. There's no other way around it. You need END to come back. Let's see here. The hype will be unreal. Yeah, exactly, dude. I, I don't know if it'd be this crazy. I can just imagine END comes back, social media itself crashes. I don't know if it'll go to that extent, but you know it'll be a huge talking point if we get that. Now, if END makes a comeback, I hope they will use the dragon design from the Dragon Cry movie. I know. See, that's what I thought too. When I saw like that form Natsu had in Dragon Cry, I assumed, okay, maybe that's like END, like half, like the half of like what END actually is. I really do hope, and I can see Hero doing that too. Hero's not the type of person to like just have a design be one time and like not utilize it again. I do see that coming into fruition somehow, some way, for sure. Do you think Gray's a Devil Slayer, if fully upgraded, is equal to END? If we get to see the full END, 100%. Yes, I do think if Gray's like Devil Slayer ability is like fully upgraded like to the max, I think it could rival END. And the kind of okay, let's be fair here. END's potential return, right? Let's say we get that. Do we see a rematch happening between Natsu and Gray? Or make it better. We have Gray, Lucy, Wendy, and Urza. The four of them take on END. Because Gray by himself was one thing, but you have the four of them together taking on END. And I'll say this. What I would like to see, if we have a scenario like that, with Urza, Wendy, Gray, and Lucy, okay? Taking on Natsu when he's like not in a state of mind. What I would like to see, the final blow be from Lucy, okay? Because we've seen what Lucy was able to do to Natsu at the end of the Water Dragon God arc, like when she was able to like bring him back to his senses. I want to see her have like the final blow for that, and maybe even that could be a huge push for Nalu too. Like just imagine what that would do for that. You know, that half dragon form design was his upgraded dragon forms. I think his full ENT form will look different. Yeah, it could. You're right about that. If Gray turns evil, uh, because of his demon slayer magic, possibly, possibly. Um, but yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think like what else could happen. Like we're in a really, really interesting spot right now with the manga. Okay, this arc potentially not only being the best arc of the series of 100 Years Quest, but also like just for Fairy Tale as a whole. This arc has like like the outmost potential to supersede even Tartaros, which is saying so much. But with that being said, you guys, that's pretty much all I have to say when it comes to this discussion video. I said discussion video. Wow. When it comes to this live stream discussion slash review on Fairy Tale 100 Years Quest Chapter 164, usually, like I said, we have to wait 2 weeks for the next chapter, right? But because I'm covering the chapter today, The next chapter is coming out next week, 165, and I cannot wait to see with what we got. Okay, overall rating, like I said before, amazing plus. And I don't know what you guys think. What were your thoughts on this chapter? Did you have any gripes with the chapter? Do you have like any like positives you have to say about the chapter? And for anyone curious as to why I'm giving an amazing plus and not necessarily pure perfection, I wish we got a little bit more on the dragon transfer. Like just one more like quick little panel. Something regarding Dogramag, that to me I thought would have been a little bit cool. But again, that's just me nitpicking. Okay, that's just me nitpicking. But like I said before, guys, that's pretty much all I gotta say. I'm LuckyRave. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more fairy tale content, Hero Mashima content, and I will catch you guys on the flip side. Later.